Alrighty, well, welcome to Gaming the System, the only channel coming to you from the unusual and unexpected intersection of gaming and theology. I am your host, Caleb Allen, joined by my co-host, Ryan Somerville, and our commanding officer. Which one is the commanding officer?
White
Not
Cocoa!
Okay, so White Cocoa is our commanding officer, and DJ No Greek is our grunt. So, how y'all doing?
Oh, I'm good. I just got scared by the dog because he decided to wag his tail against the door, and I thought it was somebody knocking on the back door. Oh,
I'm doing great. I feel like I drank a gallon of muscle milk and I am ready to go.
I'm just dandy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're going to be embarking on a new little journey with a new series, essentially. So we're going to be looking at a redemptive historical survey of the Bible, touching on key texts and key figures. So that's going to be fun. I'll start it off, and fellas, feel free to chime in, ask questions, make comments, as you deem fit. Alrighty, so the Bible starts off with the book of Genesis, and in the first two chapters of Genesis, we have the narrative of creation, the origin of the world. So really, it's highlighting first of all that the world was created out of nothing. Oh, where are we
okay,
going?
John Mark, you jumped.
Yeah, he marked tilted. The world was created out of nothing by the word of God's power.
God, perhaps?
Yes. I was trying to think of the catechism wording, and it left my mind momentarily.
Again?
And it again, and in the space of 6 days. Now, for our purposes, we really just want to focus on, rather than looking at each day, what took place on the 6th day, which principally what we're thinking about is the creation of man. So man was created on the 6th day, and as such, we read in verse 26 through 28 of chapter 1 that God created man in his own image, and he created man male and female. Now, Genesis doesn't specify, the creation narrative doesn't specify what is the image of God. We find that later in Ephesians and Colossians, where knowledge, righteousness, and holiness is identified as being that image. What we do have is you essentially have the creation of the first man, Adam, and we with the note that Adam was, or that man was created male and female. What's being highlighted for us, essentially, is that there's no ontological superiority between male and female. Man wasn't created, and man as in male, wasn't created superior to women, but both equally bear the image of God. Alright, beginning in chapter 3, we have what's recorded as the fall of mankind into sin. So when Adam and Eve were created and they were placed in the garden, God gave them, entered into
Dave,
a
come back to
covenant
where I
with
am.
them.
Pick up this mini.
Okay, hold on. I'm healing myself.
I've actually got another one.
God entered into covenant with them upon the promise of, or giving the promise of life to perfect obedience and the promise of death for disobedience. And the task put before Adam was to not eat of a specific tree. So he was instructed, being placed in the garden, that he could eat of any tree except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And it was his failure to heed that plunged mankind into a world of trouble. Man, there's a mini over here. I can't pick it up. Alright, so from there we have what takes place in verses 14 through 19, I believe it is, which is the
Hey, we got
the
guys
curses.
southwest of us.
Okay, curses that fall upon Adam, Eve, and the serpent who deceived Eve into eating
got me.
the forbidden fruit.
He
All
got
right.
me.
Where are they
There's
at?
two of them. They were southeast. Yeah. There's two of them.
Ah, I wanted to finish his friend off. You got him, Ryan.
Ah, he blasted me in the face. In the
All right.
face.
So part of the curse given to the serpent, which is where I want to focus, was that there would be enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman. Go ahead and ready up, David. And the
Don't tell
promise
me what
was,
to do.
I'll tell you what to do if I want. The promise was given that the seed of the woman would eventually crush the head of the serpent. Now, from this point on, we see essentially that the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent being the dividing line, as it were, between all of humanity. So you know, we from time to time heard different classifications of there are two types of people in the world, or as I think it was John Stonestreet who once put it, as there are three types of people in the world: those who can count and those who can't. Biblically
Factory.
speaking, okay. Biblically speaking, there are two types of people. There are those who are of the seed of the serpent and those who are of the seed of the woman. We see this first in Cain and Abel, and how Cain, when his offering was rejected, chose to kill his brother Abel rather than deal with his own sin in his heart. I'm gonna drop at this little factory place. I don't see any people.
Okay.
Then we see from there, that distinction is made even clearer with that reminder as they're going through the genealogy of man. You have the genealogy of Seth, which would be the seed of the woman, the righteous seed, and the seed of Cain. Which, interestingly enough, for those who doubt whether or not Adam was regenerate, he is included in that godly line. So, interesting little tidbit. Now, we have, starting with Noah, really, you have this special emphasis on the seed, the righteous seed, and it takes a more narrow focus.
Hey, John Mark, got something for you.
First
Oh, what?
with
Ooh, nice.
first with Noah, but most predominantly with Abraham, that we'll take up in a little bit. So we start with God creates the world in the space of 6 days. I'll give a quick recap. John Mark, actually,
I got a
come
mini
over
for
here.
you.
I've got a chug jug.
I don't know where over here is, but let me get my.
Well,
Okay. All right.
actually, you know what? I'll bring it to you.
Appreciate it.
So don't take the minis or whatnot that they would have, because it'll give you full shield and full health.
Gotcha.
Fine. What I give you is useless. That's all I'm here.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
All right, so you have the seed of. Wait, let me back up. You have creation, the space of 6 days, mankind being created as the crown of creation, and then God entering into covenant with mankind. They failed to live according to the terms of the covenant, which brought sin and condemnation upon the world. Woo!
You're boring.
You're boring.
hey, we
And-
need to get moving soon, though. We don't have much time. Like, we have
Yep.
a long way to go.
Yep.
All right.
I'm running, Joe Mark. Are you running?
So
I'm headed towards the
that
because I need that chug jug.
that pretty much summarizes basically from chapter 1 to chapter 11, thereabout. How are you on weapons, by the way?
I got, I'm alright for now. I'll survive if we see somebody.
I have-
but
I
if
have
we
a
can
blue
stop another
burst.
counter. I have a blue assault rifle with a scope on it. Everything else is gray.
Okay, because I've got a purple scar, so I don't really need the blue burst. Alrighty. Is there anything that y'all would want to add? Talking on high points from Genesis 1 through 11.
What are you trying to accomplish with the survey?
Well, on the one hand, to give a good understanding of Scripture and the flow of things, as well as where it's all aiming, which I guess that's a point I didn't touch on. With the promise of the, now I'll go ahead and do that now if you couldn't tell. With the promise of the seed of the woman. What is that? Oh, okay. The promise that the seed of the woman will crush the head of the serpent, we ought to understand that as referring specifically and ultimately only to Christ. I mean, really, Christ is the only one who is able to crush the head of the serpent. So that ought to be the reference that comes to mind.
Hey, Caleb,
This-
I've got
this
some
also-
shields for you.
Okay. This also starts a theme of the seed of promise that'll continue throughout.
Definitely think we
Throughout
should at least get
the
into
rest
the
of
circle,
Scripture.
though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's really what we need to get. This is chapter 1 through 3 in particular, is that it's kind of setting the stage for why religion is even necessary for the Israelites. Why is a sacrificial system necessary? Why is the promise of the Messiah necessary? Why is any of this necessary? Boils back to the fact that because God created upright and righteous, man fell, needs a redeemer, and that to be the promised seed of the woman from chapter 3. So then the entirety of Scripture is devoted to tracing out who that seed is. And then beyond that, it's the implications of the fulfillment of the seed in the New Covenant era. Really, Genesis 1 through 3 is where it all establishes God as leader, therefore we all it's an obedience and worship. It establishes man as fallen, and therefore what we were created to do. Establishes God's promise that he will provide a redeemer, and then the rest of Genesis and Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy traces all of that out, all the way through. You get to the New Covenant era.
John
When
Mark,
Jesus
Caleb,
Christ
I'm gonna drop
comes
your
and
stuff for
fulfills
you.
the Promise.
I got bandages for him, so he's gonna need them. Hey, Caleb, here.
Sorry, I heard a chest.
Mini
But
and a
the-
big one.
The fun
I got
part
bandages.
about
Okay.
that was
Who's
me.
that?
That was me. That was me. I thought I was on my shield, and I was not.
Gotcha.
fun part about Genesis 4 through 11 is just, and actually all of Genesis in particular, it is a piece of
What are you shredding?
the way that it draws out seed of the woman, seed of the serpent.
Hey,
Alright, where are we going?
Ryan, real quick, your mic keeps cutting out.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So the seed of the seed of the serpent versus the seed of the woman dynamic that plays out. So you have the highlight of Seth. That's when men begin to call on the name of the Lord. But then you see that devolves in Genesis chapter 6 to the whole earth is filled with violence and the flood is necessary. And then it focuses on Noah as the seed of the woman who is righteous in his generations versus the entirety of mankind, and then judgment of mankind. It's amazing to watch the juxtaposition of the seed of the woman versus the seed of the serpent played out in those few chapters. Basically, the world pitting itself against God, but God accomplishing His purpose nonetheless. In the first 11 chapters, nowhere more vibrant than in the story of the Tower of Babel, in which mankind gets together, fallen mankind gets together and decides it's going to build a city and a tower to establish its name. And God says, I don't think so. And scatters the world, and then begins the process of establishing a people that will bear his name, that will ultimately emerge victorious, beginning with Abraham in Genesis chapter 12. So it's really...
I'm getting attacked, guys.
Where are you at? It's theologically
I'm behind y'all.
brilliant, but it's literarily brilliant as well. It establishes its purpose and the thematic material for everything quite amazingly.
155. 155. David, just run towards us. They're going to get caught by the storm. Come on. If we can get in the circle, they're not going to have a chance. Ah, there's guys above us, too, on the top of the mountain. We're caught between them. But we need to get in the circle or else we're toast.
Yeah, make a run for circle.
Working
Yeah,
on it.
Another interesting part about it is leading up just before the flood. John Mark, come this way. Come this way. Go left.
There's guys on top of the mountain. I don't want to get sniped by them.
I realize that, but we don't want to run into the open either. And David
They're
and
building towards you. They're right behind you. They're building towards you.
towards me.
Yeah, you can see where they're coming down. You see their ramps.
Yep. it's this, another interesting thing is the subject of the Nephilim. Some suggest that
Now they're down. They're down.
the Nephilim may have been like angels or.
Oh, that sucked.
He's toast.
Yeah, don't take my suppressed pistol, but I definitely need this mech kit.
Yep, they're in front of us.
Uh,
Someone's shooting at us.
hey, I got two guys over here fighting each other.
Okay, coming towards you. Anyway, so I think a good case is actually made for the Nephilim being the result of the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent essentially marrying together.
If you'll have a bunch of like ammo, that would be nice because I just use a lot.
Yeah, I don't have much ammo at all.
AR ammo? I've got a
Not
lot.
really anything.
Crap. We gotta run.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, I got killed.
Are we going back for him?
No, just go. Go.
He's toast.
Yo,
Yeah, I'm toast. I'm gonna crawl my way as far as I can, though.
Oh man.
It's okay though. Like y'all did
hey,
pretty
do
good
you have
without me.
anything you can stop and use real quick? That's your only chance. Well, no. You're
I'm outrunning
you're
the
kinda
storm
close.
right now. If I stop to
Oh,
use
yeah,
something,
shot it.
I might not make it because I have 1 health.
all right. Well, moving. Be careful when you're running through this. I think we're getting shot at.
I've got 800 some rounds, so I can share, but I gotta get in circle first. Where are they at? Oh,
They're up on
Ryan,
a
you're
mountain.
running right for
Yeah.
Hey, remember,
But I'm in,
we still
I'm in
have
circle.
people. We still have people behind us, so keep in mind.
That guy probably died, honestly.
No, he did. He's dead.
Okay. Oh, these guys are at a. Oh, they're right in front of us. Okay.
Yeah, up top.
Yeah, they're up on the hill.
So what's the plan? They don't see us.
So can we scale that mountain somehow?
Yeah,
Um,
build.
Ooh.
No, somebody else is shooting at us.
I'm healing.
Oh, we got the circle. Let's get in. Let's stay over here for a second. We got the circle.
Does anyone have minis?
Yeah. What?
Nah.
Sorry. I do. Here. You go. Hey, does somebody want a hunting rifle, or do we not care enough?
I got some butt on my shoulder.
I say we just stay here because we have the circle right now, so everybody has to come to us. So let them
No one
get
has
out.
a rocket launcher to blow that thing off the cliff and
No.
cause him to die
No.
by fall, huh?
No, don't worry about them because they're shooting those other guys. They're shooting those other guys.
Joe Mark has a point. The only issue is if they go and come down on top of you.
But they don't see us. So if you want, you
Yeah.
can do it. But just
You're
I
using
just
metal
don't
though,
think-
so you have to use a lot of ammo.
I just don't think that fall is going to cut it.
Or, you know,
How are y'all on the AR ammo?
181.
I've got nothing.
95.
Appreciate it.
Come here, Ryan. I'll give you some.
I don't know where you are. Ooh,
Over here.
they see me. They know we're here.
All right, I dropped
Yep.
200 some.
Oh, crap.
One of the guys jumped.
Oh.
Joe Mark, I think you hit your own building.
Yeah, I think so too. Did one of them jump? Do you know that?
I thought so, but I don't see any.
Oh crap!
Yeah, they got you good.
Someone's down. He's coming around behind. Oh, that's just two people fighting with each other. Someone's coming down.
What?
Ah.
Oh
Joe
crap!
Mark.
I'm dead.
Building.
Alone.
Nice.
Alright, I'm out for the moment. I'll be right back.
Oh. I'm coming around to the wall.
Is it just me? Oh crap!
You got like 10 other people still playing, by the way.
It is
Oh, that's you.
just you.
Is that you?
No.
No, we're all
It's an enemy.
dead.
Not you.
I didn't have a chance. Holy crap, that was tough. Woo! Thank you. I sprayed the thing.
Oh. I leveled up.
I feel like we
Nice.
would have had a chance if David had
I
died.
hadn't died.
Yeah, we would have had a chance on that one.
So it's not my fault.
I
That would've
mean,
been-
yeah, that's the way you want
That's
to take
pretty
it.
much what he just said.
I was trying to say it nicely, but you know, since you saw through it, yeah, dude. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's pretty easy to see through you.
I
know.
Oh.
Because I'm so thin.
Hey Caleb, do you even know what you were talking about?
Well, the last part was just about like the Nephilim and how some have argued that the Nephilim were angels who came down and had relations with humans. But the context going into that in chapter from chapter 5 to chapter 6
Yeah.
makes it clearly makes the point that they're not angels. At least in my mind, it's clear. They're as a
I dropped a
result
marker.
of
I dropped a marker.
the seed of the woman mingling with the seed of the serpent.
Yeah.
Which you think about it, that really just goes with the warning that's given later, like as the Israelites are about to enter the promised land, they're told not to mix with the pagans in the land that they're going into because they'll corrupt them and lead them astray. And you find the first instance of that with the Nephilim. I mean, they were known for their own might, their own strength. They were not known for
We got
any
company, gentlemen.
godly zeal.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, they were mighty men, men of renown, making names for themselves as opposed to calling upon the name of the Lord. It's one of the key points of comparison in terms of the people of God versus pagans, or the seed of the serpent versus the seed of the woman. Just, we're inundated with a whole other squad is here, so we tend to do that. But really, it's those who are attempting to make a name for themselves, like Lamech or the Nephilim, or the people of the Tower of Babel, versus those who are calling upon the name of the Lord, like the seed of Seth in chapter 4 and 5, or Noah. That's the whole contrast there.
They're coming
the
at
seed
you.
of the serpent and the seed
He's
of the
coming
woman.
up towards y'all. He's coming up. Oh crap! I'm dead.
I think
Yeah,
he came
yeah.
after you.
No, he's coming after me.
Yes, sir.
So that's really the heart of the whole thing. Those who would make a name for themselves, and those who would call upon the name of the Lord. That really is. Oh, man,
I mean,
this
that-
dude just
Dang
wiped
it.
out all of us.
That like epitomizes that distinction of the seed of the woman versus the seed of the serpent.
I got one of them down, but I didn't see the second guy.
We just got eviscerated by that crew.
I think I angered them because I downed their one of their guys and then went right up and executed them. Alrighty, so that's the really the
Disjointed.
summary of the very disjointed. I'm going to be editing some of that down. But that is the redemptive historical survey of chapters 1 through 11 in the book of Genesis. We really hope that you, our listeners, will stick with us as we make this journey, and if you have any questions or maybe some textual issues that we didn't address, well, comments and let us know, and we'll take them up as soon as we are able. Be sure to also like the video, subscribe if you appreciate this kind of content and you wanna hear more. Till next time, we'll catch you later.